Okay, so today we're diving into something that I think a lot of people struggle with, and that's how to get focused work done when it feels like the world is constantly vying for our attention.
Yeah.
We're taking a deep dive into Cal Newport's book, Deep Work: Rules for Focused Success in a Distracted World.
Right.
And you, our listeners, told us that you're really interested in how to learn things quickly and thoroughly.
Mhm.
And so this concept of deep work really aims to unlock that potential, and that's what we're going to be looking at today.
Yeah, it's a really powerful idea.
Exactly. So we want to really cut through all the noise and get to the core ideas on why this focused distraction-free work is so valuable, and honestly why it's becoming so rare nowadays.
Yeah, and you know what strikes me right away in the book is how Newport just lays out the extent of our distraction problem.
Right.
He cites this 2012 McKinsey study
Okay.
where they found that knowledge workers are spending over 60% of their week on electronic communication and internet searching.
Wow.
So think about it, that's almost two-thirds of your work week just reacting to digital stuff,
That's wild.
which leaves very little time for the kind of focused thinking that really helps us achieve our goals.
I know, and it's not just about the volume of emails, right?
Right.
It's about the constant task switching.
Yeah,
Like you're never really giving your brain a chance to truly focus.
exactly.
And Newport, he mentions this idea from Nicholas Carr, who suggests that this constant shallowness, this kind of flitting around from one thing to the next, can actually reduce our capacity for deep work.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. And I mean, Carr himself had to go off the grid to write his book, The Shallows, which is all about how the internet is impacting our brains.
That's pretty ironic, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, think about that for a second, right?
Yeah.
He had to completely disconnect to write a book about how the internet is rewiring our brains for distraction.
That's fascinating.
I know. And so it really makes you wonder about the real cost of this shallowness that we're all kind of steeped in, right?
It does.
And I think Newport offers a good counterpoint to this. He gives some really powerful examples of what can happen when you actually do manage to carve out time for deep focus.
Okay, likewise.
So, for example, he talks about Bill Gates and his famous think weeks.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of those.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
these weren't just like, casual retreats.
Right.
These were periods of intense intellectual isolation where he would really just dive deep into reading and thinking.
Wow.
And it was during one of these think weeks that he wrote his Internet tidal wave memo back in '95,
Oh, wow.
which, if you think about it, was a pretty pivotal moment for Microsoft
Absolutely.
and for the entire tech industry. I mean, it really shows how powerful that dedicated, uninterrupted time can be for generating those really breakthrough insights.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's important to note that this isn't just for tech giants like Bill Gates, right?
Totally.
Newport also shares this very inspiring story about Jason Ben,
Oh, yeah, I love that
who
stuff.
made a huge career jump by committing to learning to code. But he did it through this intensely focused, distraction-free study.
Like insanely focused, right?
Yeah, I mean, the guy literally locked himself in a room with textbooks and note cards.
No computer, no internet.
Exactly, just pure focus.
And what's really amazing about his story is the speed of his transformation.
Yeah,
He went from a $40,000 a year job in finance to landing a $100,000 developer role in Silicon Valley in just 6 months.
wow, that's incredible.
I know, and all because of his ability to concentrate deeply.
It really highlights how much we can achieve when we eliminate distractions and just focus.
It's amazing, right? And this really underscores Newport's point that deep work is like the superpower of the 21st century.
I love that phrase.
Me too. It's so true because it's about creating valuable output that's hard to replicate.
Right, it's not about just doing busy work. It's about creating something truly meaningful.
Exactly. And I think Newport really dives into the economic implications of this as well.
Okay, how so?
He draws on the work of MIT economists Eric Brynjolfsson and Andrew McAfee
Good.
and their book, Race Against the Machine.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, so they argue that we're in the middle of this huge restructuring of the labor market,
Right.
and it's largely driven by advancements in technology.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So how does deep work fit into all of this, right?
Right.
Where do we fit in?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Brynjolfsson and McAfee, they suggest that this new economy is going to really reward two groups of people.
Okay, interesting. Tell me more.
So first, those who can work well with intelligent machines.
Okay.
So think about someone like Nate Silver, who uses all these sophisticated data analysis tools to forecast elections.
Right.
His expertise isn't just in statistics, it's in his ability to use those complex tools to pull out really meaningful insights.
Yeah. So it's not about being replaced by robots.
Right,
It's about figuring out how to work alongside them.
exactly. Amplify our own abilities with technology.
I like that.
And then the second group that they talk about are what they call superstars.
Okay, superstars, what does that mean?
So think about it with high-speed networks and collaboration tools. Companies can now find the absolute best talent all over the world for any given project.
Makes sense.
So imagine a world-renowned graphic designer who can collaborate with a company on the other side of the planet.
Yeah.
And that designer might actually be a better fit than someone local.
Right. So it creates more competition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it also creates amazing opportunities for people who have those truly exceptional skills.
So it's a double-edged sword in a way.
It is, yeah. It levels the playing field both for companies and for the really talented individuals.
The internet has really changed everything.
It has. And Newport also mentions another group who benefits, which are the owners.
Okay. The owners.
Yeah, the people who have the capital to invest in these new technologies.
Right.
Because as technology streamlines things and maybe reduces the need for a lot of labor, a bigger share of the rewards tends to go to those who own the machines and the platforms.
Makes sense.
Like he gives the example of venture capitalists who invest in a company like Instagram.
Right.
That starts with a small team, but eventually sells for billions. Yeah. It's a pretty fascinating picture of how the economy is shifting.
It is, and sometimes it can be a little unsettling too.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think it's important to remember that deep work isn't just about earning potential.
Right.
It's also really fundamental to how we learn and grow as people.
Absolutely. And Newport really delves into the learning argument here. And he brings in this really interesting perspective from a book called The Intellectual Life by Antonin Dalmas Sertalanges.
Okay.
It was written way back in the 1920s.
Wow.
But even then, Sertalanges was emphasizing the importance of concentration for really understanding a subject.
Interesting.
He talked about directing all of your attention, your focus onto whatever you're trying to understand.
So like laser focus.
Exactly. And it really makes you think about how timeless these principles are.
Yeah, I mean, they've been around for centuries.
Exactly.
And Newport connects this to more modern research on deliberate practice
Okay.
by K. Anders Ericsson.
Right. I've heard of him.
So what's really interesting about Ericsson's work is that he found that mastering difficult skills isn't so much about natural talent. It's more about focused effort.
Interesting.
He argues that what we often see as talent is actually the result of consistent, deliberate practice.
The kind that pushes you beyond your comfort zone.
Exactly. And that requires deep concentration.
So you're saying that anyone can develop these skills?
Well, according to Ericsson, it's less about innate ability and more about how you approach your practice.
Makes you think differently about talent.
It does. And Sertalanges has this quote that really resonates with this idea.
What's the quote?
He said, even geniuses need to bring their full power to bear on their chosen point.
So even the most gifted individuals still need to focus.
Exactly. Focus is key, and there's even a biological component to all of this.
Oh, really? Tell me more.
Yeah. So Newport brings in Daniel Coyle's book, The Talent Code.
Okay.
And it talks about the role of myelin in our brains.
Myelin, what's that?
It's like an insulating layer around our neurons. And when you engage in focused practice, it actually helps build up this myelin sheath.
So the more you focus, the thicker this myelin gets.
Exactly. And this allows those neural circuits to fire faster and more cleanly.
So it literally makes your brain work better.
It does. Yeah, it's like you're physically building something in your brain.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
I know. And it makes that effort of concentrating feel a lot more tangible.
It does.
So now let's shift gears a bit and talk about productivity.
Okay.
How does deep work actually translate into getting more done?
Good question.
So Newport uses the example of Adam Grant.
Adam Grant, the Wharton professor.
Yeah, he's known for being incredibly productive.
I've read some of his work.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that it's not that he works more hours than everyone else.
Really?
It's that he structures his work to have these really long, uninterrupted blocks of time for deep focus.
Oh, I see. So he prioritizes those deep work sessions.
Exactly, and he has this formula that he lives by.
What's the formula?
High-quality work produced equals time spent times intensity of focus.
Interesting. So the intensity of your focus can actually multiply your output.
That's the idea. Yeah, but then Newport also brings up this counterexample.
Oh, okay. Who is it?
Jack Dorsey.
Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter.
Yeah, and he runs multiple companies with what seems like a very fragmented schedule.
Right, he's always on the go.
Exactly. So how does that fit in with the whole deep work idea?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, Newport argues that Dorsey's approach might be very specific to his role as a CEO.
Okay.
because he's essentially acting as a decision engine.
A decision engine.
Yeah, and he needs constant input to make those high-level strategic decisions.
So for him, being constantly connected is actually beneficial.
It seems to be, yeah.
Yeah.
But Newport argues that for most of us, the people who are creating and problem-solving and learning,
Right.
cultivating the ability to do deep work is going to be much more valuable.
Yeah, unless constant interruption is like a core part of your job.
Right, exactly. So unless you have a really good reason to be constantly distracted.
Betting on your ability to focus is probably the better strategy.
Exactly. So just to kind of sum up what we've talked about.
Good.
Deep work is this really valuable skill for navigating the modern economy, for learning things quickly, and for being super productive.
Yeah, we've seen how it's played out in the lives of people like Bill Gates and Jason Ben.
Right, and we've even touched on the economic forces that make deep work so relevant today.
We've also looked at why it's so effective, from the principles of deliberate practice to the actual changes that happen in our brains when we focus.
Yeah, like the myelin sheath we talked about.
Exactly. And we've also talked about the challenges of deep work in a world that's constantly trying to distract us.
Right, and that's actually what makes it so valuable.
Because it's becoming increasingly rare.
Exactly. And Newport's book goes into a lot more detail about the factors that are contributing to this.
Okay, like what?
Well, he talks about the rise of open office spaces,
Right.
which can make it really hard to concentrate. And then there's the constant pull of social media and all these network tools.
It's hard to resist.
I know. And then there's this thing he calls the metric black hole.
The metric black hole?
Yeah, it's basically the difficulty in measuring how much productivity we lose to distractions.
That's interesting.
Because we can't really quantify it, we often underestimate its impact.
Thanks, then.
And then on top of all of that, there's this cultural tendency to equate busyness with productivity.
Right. Just because you're busy doesn't mean you're getting meaningful work done.
Exactly. And so all of these factors create an environment where being able to do deep work is a huge advantage.
It's like a superpower.
It really is. So here's something for you to think about.
Okay.
In a world that's designed to distract you, how can you create that space for deep work?
Yeah, how do we actually do it?
Exactly. What's one small change you could make this week?
Just one small thing.
Yeah, to start cultivating the superpower of focus.
I love that challenge.
We've explored the why behind deep work.
The why?
Now it's up to you to figure out the how.
The how.
Think about the tasks where your undivided attention would make the biggest difference.
Okay.
And maybe even revisit Cal Newport's book to dive into those specific strategies he offers for working deeply.
Great advice.
I think so.
I'm definitely going to give it a try.
Me too.